Oh, how's it going, guys? Disney Dan here. Welcome back into the channel and welcome to episode 90 of Disney Fiasco. It's a show where we talk about all things Disney with always different special guests, and I have some wonderful special guests for you tonight. We have Pepper Tree Villa and More Sunshine, Please. Great to see you guys. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for being here. And we're going to have so much fun tonight. I'm super, super excited. So let's go around the table. We'll start off to my left, and then we'll come down to Ben and then to Jim. Doug, Arnie, firstly, Doug, happy birthday, pal.
Thank you very much, everybody. Yes, thank you. It was a good, very quiet day.
But I hope you had a nice time at home, and I'm sure there was a lot of good food.
I made a lot of good food. I still didn't have enough time to make my baked goods, so I don't have no cake or anything yet.
Hopefully it's coming tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you had a really lovely day. Pepper Tree Villa, we got Arnie, we got Doug, we got Ben. Good to see you guys. Just tell everybody a little bit about your channel. Who are you? Where do you come from? What is Disney to you guys?
What do we do?
Well, we call our channel or network Pepper Tree Villa. We have various shows on the channel itself. Just think of us as like another NBC. So we're PTV
with very limited programming.
No, limited programming.
24 hours a day.
Yes.
Yeah, Ben has his live show, but not live. But Ben, you do a vlog every week.
I attempt to.
This is Life with Ben, and then we focus on Disney as well as Christmas and especially food.
Yes.
We're good on food.
Those were our three bailiwicks.
I mean, great minds think alike. I mean, food. I mean, come on, like it's just good stuff there. But yeah, Pepper Tree Villa live every day with your daily dose of Disney.
Yes,
Which
6 p.m.
is-
Eastern.
Which is always amazing because you never know what facts happened 10, 20, 30, 40, I don't know, nearly 100 years ago when Walt was alive in 1901. You have no idea. And Arnie, Doug, Ben always have the source of information in their hands to tell the rest of the world.
It's a lot of research.
That's why nobody wants to go come out and play with us or play trivia with us.
Hey, you know what? I'm with you on that because when I was at my college, when I was doing my degree, I think I spent more time researching about Disney than I did my actual college degree. So I feel you. I got you.
Well, I was bored. We met with my wonderful Jim at Disneyland in August during D23 and Bob and Ashley. And I had to stop ourselves kind of toward the later in the day because I felt like I was boring them because I was boring myself because I was like, okay, up there and this and this. And Bob, Ashley, and Jim said at the exact same time, no, give us more. And I'm like, I felt like I was overly doing it.
It's because people, apart from Disney fans, don't understand us. They don't get it.
It's true.
Because they were fascinated, and I felt like I was just like, is this too much for you guys? Am I like boring you, or is this like really? But no, we appreciate it because you know sometimes we don't know we can control ourselves.
Yeah,
Well,
Jim, Bob, and Ashley, they were like that. I was more like,
It's normal for us, so that's like, are you okay? And they're like, no, keep it going, keep it. I'm like, okay.
And so we're like,
That's our life.
so yeah, that's us.
That's us.
fantastic. Well, Pepper Tree Villa, please. Well, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining Daily Dose of Disney. And Ben does a vlog every week. Your fries one, I think it was last week. Maybe
yeah,
so hungry, dude. I
was that
loved
Friday
it.
or Thursday? Yeah, was that Thursday? No.
Last week.
That was last week.
Last week, yeah, that was. I really enjoyed it because I love good French fries. So
This week was 24 hours of
Lockdown.
yeah,
Sheltering in place is what you called it.
yeah.
24 hours of sheltering.
sheltering. My God, I'm doing it all the time. I even forget what it is.
Well, thank you so much for Tree Villa, and we've got Jim from More Sunshine, Please. Good to see you, pal. Thank you so much for coming back on the show. Good to see you, pal.
Thank you for the invitation. It's always a pleasure to be here.
I just love the microphone. Like that mic is just booming. It's ready to go. And if guys, you go check out More Sunshine, please go and check Jim's channel out. Firstly, I don't think I've seen you since you crossed 1,000 subscribers, so a big congratulations, pal. You really do thoroughly deserve it. And tell everybody a little bit about your channel, and so everyone knows where to come to.
Well, thank you very much. I, as opposed to Pepper Tree Villa, who's on the West Coast, I live in Florida, so I'm Disney World centric. A lot of my videos, most of my videos, deal with the happenings of Walt Disney World and my adventures there. Thank you for noticing the microphone. I've got some tricks that go along with it, so if I disagree with anybody's opinions, I can always do this,
and I can get my angry voice if that's
working. Hopefully, I won't need to break that out. But
that just reminds me of that scene in Emperor's New Groove where he's like, "Is that my voice? Is that my?"
But can I just say back to what Doug was saying on that trip? I'll never forget. They were so sweet. It was like having my own crew of plaid vests, my own concierge posse with me, and I'll never forget. I was sitting next to Doug on It's a Small World, and I had never been on that with all of the Disney characters installed. So, I didn't want to miss anything, and I think Doug knew I didn't want to miss anything. So silently, every once in a while, he'd.
I do it very subtle so people record. And you love it. He got off the video and was just thanking me profusely. And I'm like, am I like, was that a little too annoying? Because I was like,
no.
Very, very like, just get his little attention. So
no, it was perfect. If you had told me a story about each animatronic, that may have been a bit much, but what you did was perfect. It was fantastic, and I thank you.
Don't get me started on John Wayne from The Great Movie Ride, because I know some stories about John Wayne's animatronics.
No, I will remember that Small World forever. I will think of Jim, of how it was just so natural, and I kind of like doing this.
Yeah,
That's my favorite attraction with Jim.
Jim got a perfectly choreographed video without any type of words from Doug. It was like.
Well,
oh my goodness! I can tell this is going to be a fantastic stream tonight. Well, thank you guys for joining us today. Firstly, a big thank you to all my new members this week. Thank you so much for signing up to the DIZNEYDAN membership. I really do appreciate it. A lot of good stuff coming up. If you have not sent me a direct message on Twitter or on Instagram to let you be part of the DIZNEYDAN membership group on Facebook, we are letting you decide on my Disney Food Friday topics. So please send me a direct message and I'll get you over there. Let's see who's in the chat. We got the wonderful, beautiful Dana Jaworski here. We got Walt from Mouse Talk, who just went live. He's doing a daily show now where he picks a random attraction from Disney World, and he rates it and he ranks it and he talks about it. It's really awesome. Also, partner channel mine, Alyssa Sternberg, Alex Brunner, Kelly from the Mickey Bunch was so fun hanging out yesterday to celebrate Dean's birthday. LSU Mom, so good to see you. Carlos from Disney World Freak, I was on his channel earlier today. We're talking about soccer teams. Our soccer teams with Disney characters, pretty cool. It was really fun. Noah, welcome in. Mar in Memphis. Kay Atwood, so good to see you. Let's see who else is here. Samantha Lowe, Donna Anderson Folan, Tina McNeil, good to see you. Soraya Myers, The Adventures of Gonzo. The Adventures of Gonzo is my co-host for Disney Nuts on Thursdays at 5 p.m. It was really, really fun. We had Zippity Doodad this week, so please go check that out. That was so much fun. We have Amanda Kay. Because so many people, great people in the chat. Thank you so much for joining. So today's topic, we are on, I don't know how, episode 90 of Disney Fiasco. 90 episodes of this show. And
I like how he says 90.
90. 90. We've got 9. I've done 90 episodes of Disney Fiasco, and we are now on the lead up to 100 episodes. And from episode 90 to episode 100, you're going to see some very special guests each week. All special guests that you've seen before on Disney Fiasco, different topics. But these are like my best of the best, my favorites. Just I had to get all my friends in the next 10 weeks to episode 100. So 90 episodes. And this week, we're talking retro. We're talking Disney movies you've never seen before. Now, when I mean Disney movies you've never seen before, I'm not saying like, oh, actually, I have seen this one, Dan. Oh, you don't know anything, blah blah blah. But this is just the kind of like, Disney movies that not a lot of people know about, or maybe you're like, oh, I've never seen this really old movie. Maybe I'll check it out. And funnily enough, today, and Arnie and Doug, we happened to watch a movie that coincidentally at the same time, we had no idea. I'm sure we'll talk about it. Maybe I'll save it for my pick, or if you want to do it for your pick, we'll definitely talk about it. But we've chosen Disney movies you might not have seen or heard of. So we'll start off with Arnie and Doug, then we'll head down to Ben, and then we'll head to Jim. And we will talk about Disney movies you've probably never heard of. Adam's Land, welcome into the stream, and Griswold Family Vacay will also welcome into the stream. Right, are we ready? Arnie and Doug, the floor is yours.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about one we watched a couple weeks ago. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have probably seen it before, but it may have been many, many years. It had been easily 40 years since I'd seen the movie, The Love Bug.
Herbie the Love Bug.
Herbie the Love Bug. And the name Herbie came from the character played by Buddy Hackett. It was just hysterical. I didn't even remember that. But the Love Bug, I mean, this car,
I don't know how they studio did the special effects for this thing. It got ridiculous toward the end because it kept on falling apart and everything. It was so cheesy, but very, very entertaining. You were at home at the time, and I was just watching it, and it was so bad, I was mesmerized with it.
Yeah,
it was just,
here's this race car driver. He thinks he's completely washed up, wants a sports car, wants to really race, gets this tiny Volkswagen Bug, and starts winning races. He thinks he's this fantastic race driver, and it's Herbie that's doing everything. It's just completely far-fetched and just completely delightful.
But the best part about the whole movie, out of all of it, was the scenery. It was all done by Peter Ellenshaw. Peter Ellenshaw did all the backgrounds and the back screens of Mary Poppins.
Yeah, so he did a beautiful matte work with
all
that.
The matte.
And it just highlighted the city of San Francisco so well, because that's where, what was his name? Jim, I think was the race car's name.
Yeah, there was
some. I don't remember.
I don't know the names, but it was a lot of them was in studios. They did film it in San Francisco because it was obvious, but there was some matte scenes of big studio scenes, and Ellenshaw did those, so it was very Mary Poppins.
But it was kind of like almost a weird thing, because my brother-in-law works for the Golden Gate Bridge District, so he's forever everywhere, all over San Francisco and in Marin County, and sometimes on the bridge. And to see Herbie almost commit suicide by jumping off the bridge.
Yes, they committed suicide on the bridge. It was just cheesy, but it was entertaining. It was one of those things, if you just need to have to be entertained and you don't want to give too much attention to it, Disney Plus and that.
And seeing a car drunk from Irish coffee was very amusing.
Oh, goodness me. Firstly, RobFuz, welcome into Stream Partner Channel. Good friend of mine. Hopefully, Rob, you're doing well. AJC Magic TV, welcome into the stream. And Captain Akron as well, welcome into the stream. Now, firstly, I love how you say Volkswagen, because it's not called Volkswagen here. It's called Volkswagen.
Volkswagen.
The V is the W. And let me tell you, this is the only time ever that the Volkswagen Beetle has ever looked cool. Because let's be honest, I don't want to offend any Volkswagen Beetle owners out there. I feel there are better looking cars, but Herbie, now that's a beauty right there. I love the look of Herbie and the classic first Love Bug film. I mean, it's almost become one of those famous movies just because of the car itself and not necessarily the full length film. Like, people will instantly know if they see like a Herbie drive on the street. They'll be like, "That's Herbie." They know that's the name of the car. And I actually watched the Lindsay Lohan version not too long ago. I was
theater.
Crying.
Yeah, I didn't like it as much. Still with Dad here. Welcome into the stream. Yeah. That's I do regret that, and I was like, can I go back and watch the original Herbie the Love Bug film? I think how many Love Bug films are there? There's three.
Four.
There's three.
Four of them. There's
Wow.
there's the Love Bug, Herbie Rides Again, Herbie Goes Bananas, and Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo.
Wow. And then obviously the remake.
And it was
And
rebooted.
then of course the remake, yeah.
Maria Photography, welcome in. Yeah,
I still don't know why the number 53. I haven't done the research to find out the significance of the number 53 on the car, other than it's just being assigned.
and the original film came out in
69?
69.
69.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what the 53 means. Adam says, "What? We pronounce Volkswagen the same as the Americans." This guy is saying it the German way because they don't make a W sound in their vocabulary and make a V sound instead. Adam, I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe it's different up north where you are. Oh dear. I love that pick. It's definitely something that I think a lot of people have heard of Herbie and may have seen the film. Definitely more of the well-known obscure Disney films than the really, really obscure ones. But I do really enjoy the film. Jim, have you seen The Love Bug?
I have, but not in many years. So
Yeah.
I would need to re-watch it in order to talk about it with any sort of confidence.
Right.
But yeah, I did a long time ago. As a child, I saw it. But
It was 68.
68. Yeah, 1968. Wow.
1968.
I don't think I've seen the sequels though. I've seen the original and I've seen the Lindsay Lohan one, but not any of the the sequels.
every one of those titles rang a bell with me, though. Herbie Goes Bananas, Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo. I've heard of those.
Yeah. Fantastic. Fantastic, great first choice, and definitely one I would definitely recommend. Ben, we're coming to you. You got a film that people may not have heard of before?
Well, has anyone seen The Shaggy Dog?
See, I've heard of it, and I haven't seen it.
It's been decades.
Yeah, I recently
time.
watched The Shaggy Dog on Disney Plus, and typical of that era of filmmaking, it was a little slow paced, and in today's standards, the whole plot of the film could have probably been covered in a 37-minute short film.
Right.
But if you really drag it out and you have that Disney-esque kind of spin on the film, you can make it into a 90-minute family film. It's all about a kid who lives in the neighborhood with this person who has an extensive collection of like Egyptian artifacts and museum artifacts, and he comes across this artifact that, when put on his finger and read at the right time, he takes on the characteristics of becoming a dog.
Right.
And that's where the whole thing of the Shaggy Dog comes on. And of course, he becomes a dog in the most inopportune times.
Definitely a
comedy
cheesy comedic film.
But yeah, it has its moments. It's very entertaining. Fred MacMurray plays the very uptight father, which was a character he played really well in the 50s and 60s.
Right.
But it's an entertaining film all over. Who was the kid who starred in The Shaggy Dog? I cannot remember. He was one of those go-to child actors.
Tommy Kirk?
Yeah, I think it was Tommy Kirk. Thank you. But it just entertaining. I mean, how can you not love seeing a shaggy dog wearing pajamas?
Look, he thinks he's people.
So what year was Shaggy Dog? It was 60s, 70s. I can't remember exactly.
Oh, it was in the 50s.
It's in the 50s, so
Yeah.
it's really sort of
It's
out
actually
there.
shot in black and white.
Wow. Okay, I definitely need to check this out because I'm
Yeah.
a big fan of those. But definitely a very obscure. I think a lot of people, some of the people have seen it. I think
Oh, yeah.
Emily from LSU Mum have seen it. A few
Yeah.
others, Mouse Talk, have seen it.
Cherie is correct, and that Funicello was in that film too.
Right.
59.
Wow.
59.
Wow. It's, definitely. I think is when I go on Disney Plus, I see it. I see it on the on the screen, on the loads of choices. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, maybe I'll choose it. I've actually got it in my favorites because it's always been quite intriguing, and I'm a dog lover. So I love dogs, and I just have to go and watch it at some point. So Christine Hickman says, "What about Earthstar Voyager?" Maybe we'll come to that one. And Maelstrom says, "Here are some Disney films you may not have heard of: Candleshoe, Castaway Cowboy, and Blackbeard's Ghost."
I've heard of all three of them.
Love those.
Arnie and I were born in the mid '60s, so we were kind of raised on Disney family films going up through school.
Right.
Where a lot of our friends at school were being taken to go see The Exorcist and other R-rated films, and Arnie and I were going to see The Boatniks.
The Boatniks. Doesn't sound too good. Jenny Faye UK says, "Didn't it have the husband in it of Bewitched?"
Which film? The Shaggy Dog did not.
Dog.
No.
Oh, okay.
Fred McMurray was from My Three Sons.
Yeah. Okay. Disney is going for a drive, hoping to clear my head ache and the Shaggy Dog ache. Have a great night. Disney Nerders, thank you so much. I'll be on Charlie's stream tomorrow. We're going to be talking about World Showcase meals. It's going to be a lot of fun. Oh gosh, Adam's line just said, "Until yesterday, Kim had never seen Frozen. Fix that for her, though."
Oh.
You should have said "fixed her upper" for that. That's terrible. Steve Michaels, welcome into stream. So good to have you here. Thank you so much. Great pick, Shaggy Dog. I'm definitely putting that on my list, and I think it's got that cheesy comedy sort of about it, right?
Cheesy. Definitely cheesy.
I'm definitely going to put that on my list for sure. Well, great pick. I love that one. Jim, what about you, pal?
Yes, I was going to save this for my second selection, but Walt just mentioned it. The movie called Candleshoe. When I was a kid, HBO, I think it was HBO, would play a number of movies over and over and over again. Yeah. Candleshoe was one of these movies.
Yeah.
And it's from, I believe, 1978. It stars a young Jodie Foster. She is I don't, maybe I shouldn't talk too much about the movie in case anybody's interested in watching it. But here's something that was eye-opening. A couple days ago, I went back and I watched it because it had been years, and I feel I need to. Well, maybe I can just ask Pepper Tree Villa who was the con man in Candleshoe. Do you guys know who I'm talking about?
It was David Niven.
No, he was the butler.
Yeah, butler or uncle. It was a butler.
Yes.
Okay.
And there was a. I have to look it up. I'm sorry.
I'm looking it up here. A guy named by the name of Leo McKern. He played the character Harry. He was the next con artist.
That's right. Okay. Thank you. That guy. Let's see. Is that Leo McKern? Yeah. Yes. Bundage was his character's name. Okay. I was watching this, and I'll just mention the beginning of the movie. Jodie Foster is actually a foster child. No pun intended. But she kind of lives on the streets, and this character Bundage recruits her to pose as Helen Hayes's long lost granddaughter, so that eventually he can find a treasure that's somewhere on her estate.
Wasn't it like a Spanish doubloon or something, or
something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
So I'm watching this, and the beginning of the movie where he has Jodie Foster's character brought back to his apartment, and he's trying to give her the lowdown, and she sasses at him. She has a very sharp tongue, and he hauls off and smacks her across the face. And my eyes went, what just happened? I don't remember that. Well, I don't remember watching that as a kid. And she's a tough kid, so she just kind of stands there giving him the eye, and then she says something else, and he raises his hand again, like he's threatening her again. I'm going, no! And it was so out of it. Just there's no way that would be in this movie today, and it was so shocking. And it's something I had seen that movie a number of times, and that didn't even register You know, that's not the part of the movie that registered with me. You know, it was the fun parts, of course. But I mean, as a small kid watching this movie, the violence, that was eye-opening. That was startling. But what I loved about the movie, watching it as a kid, let's get off the violence, is it's a treasure hunt.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun. And it had a cast of children in it. So of course, watching as a kid, you know, you can, you know, put yourself in their shoes or whatever. But it was a fun movie. I had not seen it in maybe 30 years before I saw it the other day. And I thought I'd mention it right now because Walt had brought it up. But yeah, Candle Shoe. I would assume somebody of your age, Dan, may not have seen this. So that's why it's on my list.
Hey, Steve, welcome into the stream. Good to see you, pal. Thank you so much for dropping by. I have seen this movie.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I definitely found this through a podcast. So I listened to a Walt Disney World podcast, which I think some of you may know, called WDW Radio, with Lou Mongello as the host, and he loves talking about some of the old movies. And he brought up Candle Shoe one time during one of his live streams, or one of his I can't remember, maybe in one of his episodes where he talks to the listeners and they send in sorts of questions. And one of them was like, what kind of movies would you recommend that aren't the Disney animated classics or, you know, live action? And he mentioned Candle Shoe.
There it is.
There you go.
Available on Disney Plus.
And I was like, oh, okay. Intrigued. Like, I'm always intrigued about these sort of different old films and films that kind of people definitely not on people's radar. And for I feel like with these old Disney films, the name of the film doesn't accurately correlate with what is happening in the movie.
It's nonsense. It's nonsense.
It's complete nonsense. Yeah. And Candle Shoe was one I watched, and I was definitely really intrigued, and I actually really enjoyed it. I'm always on. I was a big fan of Treasure Island, the original live action, and I love that sort of going on an adventure, trying to find some sort of item in film in general. So I was like, okay, I'll give this a go, and I really enjoyed it. It was great. But a really, really great pick. Really love that pick. And definitely,
I've got another movie coming up. Maybe my next one I'll talk about is another one that they showed on cable over and over and over, and it's not available on Disney Plus. So when you come back around.
When we come back around, we will definitely. Candle Shoe was the name of the estate, I think.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed Candle Shoe. Was very surprised. Yeah. Right. My pick. Now, we were talking about this off stream because we conveniently, Doug and Arnie and I, watched the same movie today by chance, and it for me has one of the best movie names I think of all time, and that is 1969's The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes. We
literally just watched it probably 4 hours ago.
Oh goodness me. I'm not, so I think, as some of you may know in the chat, and I love really bad films that are hilarious. Jaws 4, Batman and Robin, all these terrible films that are just hilarious.
Jaws 4.
And I love Jaws 4.
The shark grows like a lion. It's great.
It literally stands on the water with its fin.
Oh, that's terrifying.
And it has the vendetta to swim from New York to the Bahamas just to track down the Brady family. I mean, what shark has a vendetta? Right, that's not the point. I could talk forever about Jaws 4. Gosh. Right, so Computer Wore Tennis Shoes. Kurt Russell, surprisingly, in this film. A very young Kurt Russell. I actually watched this the first time maybe a couple of years ago when I was in college, and I enjoyed it because of how ridiculous it is. And I thought, you know what, I've got this stream coming up today. Let's watch one of my favorites, one of my classic favorites. And I thought, right, gonna put on the Computer Wore Tennis Shoes. And remember, Kurt Russell is in it as Dexter, and he's very dim-witted at the start. He's a bit of a I could do whatever I want, and then he has this ridiculous accident with the computer wires, and for some reason he now has magic powers of gone straight into his brain. He's got a computer in his brain.
I like when he has the medical exam. And look at his eye.
The medical exam.
God, I was literally like, that is one of the dumbest scenes I think I've ever seen in a film.
No,
like the guy puts the thing over his eye to see his
eyes,
and it's just
and he goes in, and it was horrible.
And they do a scan of his brain.
And then his brain, you can see all the little dots of the lights on it.
Driving in a car with a bikini and just ridiculous. Mike Wheeler, welcome into the stream, buddy. Very good to see you. And Dean Higgins is the dean of the college, and I thought he was just ridiculous. Like, he's so like, I need to get this out of here. And what people forget about this movie, it's a gangster movie. Like, you got these gangsters who are trying to get Dexter when he's all like got the computer in his brain and he's doing the test. Remember the test was like tick 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 tick.
Yeah.
And
that was Cesar Romero, right?
Yeah.
Cesar Romero.
Just
They were all very heavy smokers, so all of them had that raspy voice. Because you could totally tell that they would probably smoke like chimneys off the set. And just the paint scene and the mess. I mean, it was an entertaining, horrible film.
See, I'm with Magic at the Mouse TV. I love the computer wore tennis shoes. I think it's
entertaining, but it was horrible.
It's I mean, there was one scene, I think it's near the end, where they're painting the house, and it's just like, I was meant to paint the outside orange and the frames green or something, and they got it the wrong way. It's just ridiculous. And they was throwing paint on the road, and they're all in this doom buggy and trying to chase down. Oh, it's just ridiculous. Like, it's just, if you haven't seen the computer war tennis shoes, I would highly recommend. If you just want a cheesy, laughable film that you could just sit down and be like, that's dumb, but I love it anyway.
And don't forget the sequels for that film either.
Yeah.
You've got
Now You See Him, Now You Don't, and Strongest Man in the World.
Yeah,
Strongest Man in the World. Yeah. I think someone mentioned it.
I've not seen Now You See Him, Now You Don't in years, but I've seen the other two recently on Disney Plus.
And also the World's Strongest Man. Yeah, that's it's a. I finished the movie today, and also they have the most 70s opening song I think possible when they start singing the Computer War Tennis Shoes song.
And then graphics too, for the essence of what a computer program would look like. They use Courier font.
Yeah, typewriter font, and they didn't use the digital font like they have now. But I mean, it was just.
Team movie photography. Have I lived in a bubble? Now I need to watch this movie.
Yeah,
trust me.
Yeah,
watch it. Watch it. It's a good evening's watch. You won't be disappointed. Actually, I can't say you won't be disappointed because it's not the best film in the world, but it is an entertaining film. That's what it is. That is what it is. Right. So that's my first, and it was just funny. We watched it the same day today. Just how weird. Jim, have you seen it?
No, but I believe I've seen the two sequels. How bizarre is that?
So this will be a prequel for you.
Yeah, it will. I didn't know what I was missing.
Yeah, you know the film after the first 10 minutes, and like every typical Disney film.
To be honest, I think after the first literally a minute when they start singing the song.
That's true. Madcap does hit the whole song out of the park. So.
Oh my goodness!
Absolute madcap. So
brilliant! It's absolutely brilliant.
It was
right,
and cheesy.
Right, we're going to come back to Doug and Arnie for your next pick. What have you got for them?
Recently, we started on our show something called the Disney Plus Movie Club.
I love it.
Before we started that, we introduced it by just kind of like talking about a film, the first episode of that particular series that we're doing. And at this time, the movie that we watched was The Ugly Dachshund. Yeah, another one starring Dean Jones. He did a lot of movies for Disney in the 60s. And this one, he feels a little bit emasculated by his wife because of the little dachshunds that he is forced to raise with her. And he wants a dog of his own. And Brutus ends up coming in, and he tries to convince his wife in the beginning that it is also a dachshund, but of course it's a Great Dane. And so the dog is raised, and of course, you know, the dog is responsible for doing everything wrong, and it's never his problem. It's always the dachshund that causes the doxies that cause the problem. But it's still one of those films that you go into a theater, you turn off your brain, just enjoy the next 90 minutes, and then you walk out. It's just silly fun.
How funny. Walt and Melissa just watched it today. That's amazing.
It's great that we have all these films at our fingertips. We can just watch whatever we want to now.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that. But The Ugly Dachshund, you know, it is a very typical film in the 60s that did produced. It's the setup, gag, setup, gag, setup, gag. And you know what? It was fine. Dean Jones, Suzanne Plachette, they made a beautiful Mr. and Mrs. on screen. They did a great job with the dogs. It was a lot of fun, just all around. Just madcap zaniness. So.
Thank you, Steve.
Timothy Rainwaters, welcome into the stream. Avery from AJC. Avery, the Cuban American, welcome into the stream too. Thank you so much for joining. I actually had it somewhere. Yeah, the movie was fun, says Mouse Talk. And Avery said, I have a cute Joshua named Bella. So that's pretty cool. But I don't know what it was during, I don't know, maybe the Disney Studios just had like an obsession with dogs. Like dogs in movies.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, there was this one thing about the movie, though. Yeah. When you look at it, well, actually, let me pull up a description here for Disney Plus, because when you're looking at a film for Disney Plus, they give you a description of what the film is, but then they also give you a disclaimer on these films.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. This one in particular has this program is presented in as originally created. It may contain outdated cultural depictions.
And it did.
And in this case, they have a Japanese tea party in the backyard. And this film, if it were made today, would never have that scene because it is so, to our standards, completely racially insensitive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, we're not going to go into sort of Disney and their sort of depictions on sort of cultures and that kind of thing, because I could rant for 3 hours about Song of the South.
It's not just Disney was doing that. All of Hollywood was doing it.
Everyone was
doing it. It was just the culture.
It was the way it is.
I mean, look, you can go on to Disney Plus right now, put on Melody Time, and you'll see Pecos Bill, you know, having a you know, a whiff on his horse. I mean, that's pretty much, you know, what, you know, that's what it was back in those times. That's how it is. And I mean, yes, it's good that Disney put out those those disclaimers on those, you know, on Disney Plus, and I think it's, you know, they have to. But that's just how it was back then. That's just what these things did. You know, it's crazy.
Exactly. And the tone of the film could also be considered misogynistic as well. So, but again, it was just the culture. That's how things were in Hollywood.
Of course. But
still, it was still a fun film.
Jim, have you seen the film?
Not that I recall.
Oh, yeah.
No.
I definitely need to rewatch it. I think it's been a long time since I've seen it. I don't remember much because at some point I think all those movies start like being the same.
Oh, yeah.
Great pit though. Really, really love it. And if you love dogs, I think it's a good film to watch, I think, for sure. Ben, we're gonna come to you, pal.
There was another film that I watched about 2-3 months ago on Disney Plus. Amazingly enough, another Dean Jones film. It's called Snowball Express.
Right.
It is about a guy who works in the city tired of the rat race existence of his life, and he hates his job. I believe he was an accountant, and he just ups and walks out when he finds out that he has inherited this supposed incredible ski resort in Colorado. So he drags his family halfway across the country from the East Coast to Colorado to start a new life running this nice ski resort, which it was far from nice.
Right.
Of course, you get all the sight gags of money pit type of experiences in a boarded up hotel where everything doesn't work, and you've got livestock living in different things that you don't expect to see there. It's like the proverbial city mouse going into the country and being out of its element. But it's a pretty entertaining film, but not the best effort at all. But what films were the best efforts from Disney at this era? It was like 1972.
Like
I see it.
Sounds like The Shining.
A little bit, yeah. Without the hedge maze.
And Jack Nicholson.
Or the weird twins appearing in the hallway.
Oh gosh, we're not going to get into The Shining, are we?
No. The Shining was only about 5 or 6 years after Snowball Express was released in theaters. So, just no. While I really enjoy a lot of the old films,
yep.
You wanted obscure. Snowball Express is extremely obscure.
Yeah, I mean, I've never heard of it.
I can't even really recommend it because it's not one of their better efforts. But if you got an hour and a half of time to kill, which a lot of us do these days, give it a try, and that way you can be as appalled as I am.
Yeah, I'll definitely give it a try because I always am intrigued. Avery says
you like terrible films, so you'd probably really like it.
I probably would. One movie that I haven't seen yet is Tron Legacy, says Avery. Now, I actually, just visually, I think Tron Legacy looked fantastic. I think the story was a bit, it's okay. But I think the CGI of faces, was it Kurt Russell? No. Yes. In the second, it was
Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges, that's it.
Bridges, yeah.
Jeff Bridges' face remastered. Oh boy, that was that was. I mean, look, you compare that to Captain Marvel with Samuel L. Jackson's remastered from last year. Yeah, that was. I mean, times have changed with technology, but
Hollywood trickery.
Yeah, Jeff Bridges in how he no, but I think it was a visually good-looking film. Yes. Tron Legacy, I would definitely recommend it, but I would recommend more the original Tron. Now,
the original Tron from 1982 was amazing, and that was
revolutionary. I think.
I remember the video game. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it's definitely more sort of, especially with the roller coaster coming, and it's becoming a little bit more sort of popular. And I think they need to do sort of a remake or something. You know what? I think Tron would be amazing as a TV series for Disney Plus.
Yeah,
100%. 100%. I could see that.
Absolutely.
Dean from Dreamers Empire. Great to see you, pal. I hope you had a wonderful birthday, pal. So good to see you yesterday. And if you haven't checked out The Live Place, this channel is sponsored by The Live Place. Dean has over 70-something channels on The Live Place, all family-friendly, Disney, non-Disney. Just, if you haven't, this channel, this whole thing wouldn't be without Dean from The Live Place and Dreamers Empire. So go show Dean some love. Go subscribe to The Live Place and go check it out. Right, Jim. Are we ready?
Okay. Yes. Again, as a kid, when when everybody was first starting to get cable in their houses, HBO was one of the channels offered, and we had that. And this movie was played over and over, and I'm so glad it was played so often on HBO because I loved it. It's a movie called Midnight Madness. And it's notable because it's Michael J. Fox's very first film.
Wow.
Nice. He's not the star of it, though. He is the star is David Naughton. You might know him from American Werewolf in London.
I love that film.
And I remember. Yes.
Dimitri, welcome into the stream. So good to have you here.
And So anyway, it's about a group of college kids, or actually a kid in college creates this scavenger hunt game. I think he calls it the Great All-Nighter or something like that. And he recruits these 5 college kids to create teams so that they can go around and play his scavenger hunt. So the great fun of that is getting the clues, the teams getting the clues and trying to figure them out, and then going to the next location where the clues tell them to go. And it was just fun, and it was funny. But I didn't know it was a Disney film until recently. And I looked it up on Wikipedia, and it said Midnight Madness was rated PG, and it was only the second film from the Disney company to receive anything other than a G. The first being The Black Hole, which I haven't seen either.
Oh my god! You've got to. Oh my gosh!
I've heard differently.
Dreadful. It is just a dreadful film.
Now you know why I love it.
Yeah.
It is.
So anyway, the Disney name was not in the movie. They didn't put it on there, and I have to. And there's no explanation why, other than because it wasn't G rated. Maybe they learned their lesson with the Black Hole. Maybe that didn't do as well as they had hoped, and they wanted to keep Disney as G rated as possible. I don't really know, but the Disney name wasn't put on the movie until a video release in 2004.
Yeah, Ron Miller was responsible for those types of moves at the studio because he was trying to push the envelope of trying to bring the Disney studios into the 70s, even though they were already into the 80s.
Yeah, this is the re-release, the video re-release.
Oh wait.
Okay,
Boom.
I'll let you go. This was not the original video, the VHS. This is not the original case. This is the re-release. And then Disney name is on there.
Yeah.
That's Michael J. Fox. That's That's David Naughton. That might be Eddie Deason. I can't tell. No, it's not. But Eddie Deason's in it. Stephen Furst he was Flounder in not Flounder. Animal House. What was his nickname in Animal House?
Oh, Blowfish?
Was it? I don't remember. Anyway,
No.
He was the chubby, nerdy guy, and he actually plays sort of a jerk in this movie. But the great fun is seeing these teams play this scavenger hunt. This movie is not available on Disney Plus, and I don't believe there is a plan to release it on Disney Plus, and I don't know why. I wish they would. I would watch it. I'd leave right now and watch it if I could.
You know what? Surprisingly, I've realized there are a lot of films not on Disney Plus, which I think we could talk about a little bit in just a minute. But Midnight Madness, I actually have heard of Midnight Madness. I haven't actually seen it, obviously, because it isn't on Disney Plus. But hearing through the grapevine, I have heard about it, and I didn't know that was Michael J. Fox. I had no idea.
His very first film, and as I'm reading Wikipedia, there is a clue that takes them to the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and they come across the star of Mickey Mouse.
Wow.
And
Coincidence.
so it's like a little hidden Mickey in this movie that I didn't even know of. So
At that point, Mickey Mouse's star had only been there about 2 years.
yeah.
I love it. Well, that's
They
a
worked it in.
fantastic pick. I think if you can find Midnight Madness online somewhere, I'm definitely going to check it out for sure.
Ryan, Captain Akron, says that he saw it on AMC last year.
Wow.
Really?
Oh,
I
that's
gotta
awesome.
look for it.
Or Summer Magic with Belle Ives and Haley Mills in 1963. That's on my honorable mentions. Yeah, so there's a lot of Main Street USA references in Summer Magic, which we'll talk about. I think maybe if we have time. Thank you, Dean. We actually have had this. I think Arnie and I spoke about this idea a while ago about doing
Yeah, it's been 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, so I'm glad we are doing something. Maybe we'll continue this another time as well if we run out of time. But Midnight Madness, I think I'll definitely have to. I'm very, very intrigued.
It's fun. It's what I remember, because it's been decades, but what I remember, it was great fun.
You can rent it or buy it on Amazon Prime. There you go. Easy peasy. That's what I'm going to do tomorrow. Right. My last pick of the evening, because we're running a little bit short on time, I think, because we're not just really big lovers of all these different films. Now, this question might be wrong, but I want to ask Arnie, Ben, Jim, what is, this is trivia time.
Okay.
A film that Walt Disney has been in.
I don't recall.
Technically, he was in it. Like, you can go on Disney Plus and see it. Well, the last time I watched it we had a streaming service called Disney Life, which was before it, and you could actually see him.
Was it him actually playing part of Walt Disney, or was it?
It was him.
Was he just on in the background on a television being Walt Disney?
No, it was him in a film. Like, yeah.
Wow, interesting. Because that doesn't even sound characteristic of Walt Disney.
It could be completely wrong, but I think I'm 98% sure he was in it.
Well, that's easy enough to find out.
I'll give you a hint. It was half live action, and then the second half was animated.
Oh, then that would have been The Reluctant Dragon?
There we go. The Reluctant Dragon. Yes, I love The Reluctant Dragon. 1941. If you are a big sort of fanatic about how Disney creates its films and the sounds and how the artists...
Right. They take a tour of the animation studio at that time, don't they?
So you have Robert Benchley. He was told to bring his Reluctant Dragon book story, I'm probably all wrong, to the Walt Disney Studios, and he ends up on a tour of the studios. He was meant to meet Walt Disney, and he just ends up being, followed or trying to be tracked down by the security guard. And he goes to all these different areas. I think Casey Jr. from Dumbo makes an appearance as a sketch or a voiceover from one of the voice artists. I think they show the multiplane camera, yes, which is fantastic. I think it's just if you are intrigued about it's a movie, but it's also a peek. It's like a fourth wall movie. It's behind the curtain of how to make a movie, but it's a movie. Pretty much. And then they finish off this movie with the Reluctant Dragon story as an animation, and you see Walt and Robert Benchley sit down together, and what a beautiful tale. And if you're so interested about Disney history, it's just a wonderful wonderful topic and a wonderful story. And it's not like a well-written movie. It's literally, it's just what happens in the Disney animated studios. That's pretty much what it is.
It's a good snapshot of 1940s filmmaking.
Yeah. Avery says it's hashtag how to make a movie, but it's a movie. That's pretty much what it is. That's pretty much what it is. But I had to put The Reluctant Dragon on this because it was the second film I watched on Disney Plus after Steamboat Willie.
Oh, nice.
Second thing. So I feel like it kind of works well together. So I chose The Reluctant Dragon as my pick. So if you haven't seen The Reluctant Dragon, I would definitely recommend it, and it's good fun. It is good fun.
So that would have been about 6 weeks ago for you?
Yeah, about a month. Yeah, 6 weeks. Yeah, we got it in March. So
yeah.
Yes, Magic and Mouse TV says Swiss Family Robinsons from 1940s. Absolutely. Not Meet the Robinsons that came out in 2010 or whatever it did, but the classic 1940s with the treehouse. Absolutely. And Avery says it's not a movie, but Walt is also in Disneyland around the seasons on Disney Plus. I haven't got around to that yet. Fantastic. So I think what we'll do very quickly, because we've got to head over to Mouse Talk for Sports Night straight after this in 5 minutes' time. We'll just go around, say a little bit about your channel, but if you've got any other honorable mentions, very quickly, just list them off, as well as the 2 that you mentioned, and then we'll head over to Walt and Steve. So we'll start off with Doug and Ben and Arnie, so Pepper Tree Villa, and then we'll head to Jim for more sunshine, please. So, yeah, Doug and Arnie.
Honorable mention, I would say Pete's Dragon. I mean, this is a film from 1977. We had a delightful experience watching it originally in the theater with my sister, and halfway through the film, a mother and her children got up, and the kids said, "Is the movie over?" And the mother said, "Yes, it's over." It was only halfway through. And the kid, as he's walking up the aisle, says, "Oh, Mom, I really loved that." So, yeah, that was kind of like the state of that one. You know, when you have things, when you have a town that no one can say, the name of Passamaquoddy, Maine, you know, just it was a zany film, but a lot of fun. But yeah, the one thing you mentioned about the multiplane camera, that actually was just patented in 1940. The anniversary was yesterday for the camera.
Wow.
And if you've never seen one in person, make it to San Francisco, Dan, and we will take you to the Walt Disney Family Museum, where they have it on display. There's a cut in the floor between the first and second floor. That's how big that thing is.
And you look down at it, and you see all the different cameras.
You see all 7
Oh,
multi-plane camera that the studio.
It's amazing.
I'm not even kidding you. I said this to my other half, my girlfriend, early today, and she was just like, "Yeah, I want to go to the Walt Disney Family Museum and see like lots of different stuff and this multi-plane camera." And she goes, "What?" And I'm just like, I'm so excited. And she was just like, "What? It's just a camera." I'm like, "No, it's like a big, like, it's huge and lots of different cameras." And she's like, "Dan, I don't understand you sometimes."
Oh, we're
groundbreaking.
We're a long
I'm just like, I know.
Yeah,
Beyond help.
but yeah, in 1940,
Yeah.
Walt was granted a patent in the
Wow.
US Patent Office for the multiplane camera.
Amazing. So you got some honorable. So you got Pete's Dragon as an honorable mention.
Yeah.
And any others that just spring to mind, or
Well, one that we just watched was That Darn Cat. I liked that one.
Yeah.
But then I also watched the sequel, or the remake of it, which was just absolutely dreadful.
I haven't watched the remake yet.
Oh, it's awful.
I guess I don't need to waste my time.
No, it's so awful. It's not even bad enough to be enjoyable. It's just
Oh, that's too bad.
yeah. So
Ben,
that's it for us.
Ben, did you have any more honorable mentions for your end?
Mine is probably one of the lesser viewed of the animated classics. And that would be The Sword and the Stone.
Oh, yes.
The wizard's duel between Madam Mim and Merlin is probably one of the most brilliantly written scenes in animation. It's just so wonderful to watch.
Yeah.
I'm a germ, and you caught me.
We were on the Disney Cruise Line, and they literally all they do is it's like with Disney Plus and steroids. So they have one channel on the stateroom, and all they do is play movie after movie after movie.
Yeah.
So we would constantly keep it on, and he was already asleep, and I was mesmerized. And there was something, I watched the whole Sword in the Stone that whole night. I stayed up and I'm like, this movie's brilliant.
It
And
really
the whole
is.
scene, and then like a day and a half later, because it was a 7-day cruise, a day and a half later, we ended up watching it together again. It's so repeatable. But the duel of them and going into the germs that, we're dealing with germs.
That's a good choice for honorable mention.
But yeah, you love the Disney Cruise Line because, well, at the time, that was novel. We have Disney.
Yeah.
You can watch all the animated movies we ever want.
Jim's turn.
And no disappearing. And then she goes and disappears. Love it. Love Sword in the Stone. Definitely a classic. I mean, it's a Disney classic for a reason. Great choice. Jim, did you have any honorable mentions on your list?
I did. This is one of my first movie going memories that I've had. Gus, the field goal kicking mule.
Yes.
The Yugoslavian mule that can kick 100-yard field goals with pinpoint accuracy. This is such a silly movie, but I watched it again the other day because I knew I was going to be on your show, and it's silly.
Yeah.
What I realized is Don Knotts is the world's worst football coach, and my favorite part of this movie was there's a Tom Bosley and Tim Conway are the two con men, ex-cons actually, and they're chasing the mule through a grocery store, and it was just great fun to look at all of the products in the grocery store. This was at a time before product placement. They just left anything on the shelves in that grocery store. So you get to see old Dorito bags and Kellogg's cereal boxes.
Ooh.
And everything in that store were legitimate products. And that was the most fascinating part of the movie for me.
I think it was a Ralph's grocery store too.
It may have been. And that whole sequence is ridiculous anyway, because they tear that grocery store apart and people are still shopping as if nothing's going on. It's so... It was great fun, though. So that's my honorable mention.
Love it. Love it. My honorable mention, I chose 1975's One of Our Dinosaurs is Missing. One, because I love the name. And two, I think it's an intriguing plot. Very intriguing. I also had, as you've seen in the thumbnail, Condor Man. Again, very bizarre film.
Michael Crawford.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that was Michael Crawford.
Dick Tracy. Dick Tracy. Very good film. And Summer Magic was on my list too. So that was on my list too. But that's it. Thank you guys so very much. Walt is live right now for Sports Night. So we're going to wrap up things here and head over there in just a second. Firstly, guys, please go check out Pepper Tree Villa. Wonderful friends, great channel, Daily Dose of Disney, lifetime with live vlogs with Ben as well.
If you can call it that.
I'm calling it. What's coming up the rest of the week? Any other live streams as well as your Daily Dose? Any other?
We have actually Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. We are doing our 1-year anniversary of live streaming on Pepper Tree Villa.
Yeah.
Very excited.
Well,
Very
big congratulations.
Crazy.
Big congratulations. And,
Thank you.
Team Marie Photography
Look at that.
with the new thank you.
Congratulations, Tina. You're joining a nice little crowd there.
She's got a green name now.
Thank you so much. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the membership. Please send me a direct message on Twitter or on Instagram, and I'll get you over to the Disney Dan members Facebook group. Well, thank you so much. But if you haven't checked out Pepper Tree Villa, please go do so. Congratulations on 1 year. Go check. If a moderator could put their link in the chat, that'd be fantastic. Jim, more sunshine, please. Congrats on 1K once again. I know you've been doing a little more live streams recently, which is great. I love seeing your live streams with the music backgrounds as well, and it's fantastic. So if you haven't checked out Jim from More Sunshine, please go do so. What's coming up for you, pal?
More watch hour grabs, just like you'd mentioned.
Yeah.
So as I try to live stream during the afternoon whenever I can.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of vlog videos that I can edit in the not in the can yet. I have to put them together. Picture quizzes on the way, and just trying to reach those magic numbers. Dan, this was a blast. Thank you for inviting me again.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you everybody for joining. Thank you to all my members. I'll be sending out the poll tomorrow for you to vote for Disney Food Fridays on my Facebook page. And I'll also do one in a Twitter chat as well, so you have the chance to vote there. As for me, I've got another video coming out on Tuesday, which will be fantastic. It'll be a top 10 video or a pin video. I think it's a pin video. Disney Food Fridays on Fridays. Adventures of Gonzo on Thursdays at 5 p.m. for me. And then next week, episode 91 of Disney Fiasco. And I have Jeff from This Our Dream, Carlos from Disney World Freak, and Charlie from Disney Nerd Herders. We are going to be talking about all things Epcot. That is next week. We are super excited. And come check out Charlie's stream tomorrow, where I'll be live on Disney Nerd Herders. Check out also partner channels, Mickey's Magic, Viapree Project, RobFuz, and Mouse Talk, who are live right now. And I want everybody to go and say Disney Dan sent me. And that's pretty much it. So, guys, thank you so much. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you all real soon, and see you next week for episode 91. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Good night.
Bye.